I'd also like to welcome my friend Roberto Torres. Roberto hails from Toledo area. He's the former Canton Director of Economic Development. And Roberto is very innovative in working with cities, trying to think of new ways to grow jobs and grow businesses. He was attracting Latino businesses. He was successfully recruiting a Chinese business to Canton, Ohio. He worked for the city of Toledo and for the mayor of Toledo for many years. He's an advocate in the Hispanic community and for all immigrant communities. He's a graduate of Bowling Green University, bachelor's arts degree in political science and public administration. And I'm most proud to introduce him as a member of the U.S. Armed Services. Roberto served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1986 to 88, and then again in Desert Storm conflict from 89 to 90. This guy has walked the walk, right? I mean, he knows what it's like to be right in the middle of it. So thank you, Roberto, for being here.
Robert Torres, and thank you, Richard, for allowing us the opportunity to actually be able to communicate on this topic. As the Director of Economic Development for the City of Canton in the last 4 years, it drew an awareness to me on just the fears that are out there when it comes to immigrant, just any notion of involving immigrant in any type of economic development initiative. I'll give you a good example. I was working on a $250 million project. That's a $250 million project for a new refinery in Canton, Ohio. And I received a phone call, and it's somebody who's alarmed and concerned. And I pick up the phone and I said, yes, what's the concern? And they said, well, I want to report that there are Mexicans working on the project. And I said, okay. So I thought I'd, ask a few more questions. And I said, what tells you that they're Mexicans? They said, well, they're from Texas. So I said, okay, well, where I come from, they're Texans of Mexican descent, but they're still U.S. citizens. They're Texans. And I said, do you know who you called? And they said, yes, we called the office of the Department of Development. I said, okay. I said, you know who you're talking to? They said, yes, the director. And I said, you know my name? They said, yeah, you're Mr. Torres. I said, okay, I need to tell you. I said, my family is from Aguajita, Coahuila, Mexico, y yo fui nacido mexicano. In other words, my family is from Aguajita, Coahuila, Mexico, and I was born Mexican. And so you're speaking about me. And so he hung up the phone. The notion that a second project was when I assisted Republic Steel. Now that's a $250 million project that was creating jobs in the city of Canton, Ohio. The next one was Republic Engineer Steel, which was making a $15 million investment, and this was 3 years ago. And I had people actually commenting that they're going to take our jobs. And here's a Mexican-owned company that made an investment in our region. In fact, now the headquarters is in Canton, Ohio, thanks to the development director of the city of Canton, who happened to be Mexicano. And recently made an $85 million investment, and now it's an $85 million investment in Lorain, Ohio. The ability to be able to be in that position also allowed me to do sister cities with Saltillo, Mexico. And it was sister cities that was done on economic opportunities. Now, it's not ironic that we chose Saltillo, Mexico. I had the choice between Chihuahua and Coahuila. And I recall that my father's birthplace is Aguajita, Coahuila, as I mentioned. Saltillo is the state capital of Coahuila. So it allowed me to be able to not only do a partnership based on economic, but also on recognition. And so when Richard says utilize your local resources to be able to bring and attract businesses, that is so very true. When we landed the largest company last year, VXI Global Incorporated, that brought in more than 1,000 jobs into the region. In fact, it's the largest project for Team Neo, and it was announced in our annual report. When we brought them in, it was a Chinese-based company. We actually utilized Chinese individuals from our community to be able to bridge that dialogue. The mayor's wife is Chinese. The mayor knows Mandarin Chinese. And so it just happened to be on the eve of the Chinese New Year that we were inviting the company to actually come in. The company had been in the area, but had never visited our region, and they took the invitation because of the communication. When they came in, the principles of the business came in, we utilized some very talented Chinese partners in our region, Northeast Ohio region, to actually build that friendship and start a friendship that turned into a business relationship. So we